Hello and welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm Mike.
I'm Rainbow.
And welcome back, everyone, to our A Window on the World look at International Animal Rights Day. Animals have rights too. Whew. That's the title of our article, and as we look back on part 1, which we read yesterday, you could also say that that's what Brigitte and her friends were trying to say to people.
Right, most definitely. Brigitte and some of her friends were part of an event that was trying to get people to think about the rights that humans have compared to the rights that we give to animals. She was actually holding some dead animals in her hands as a way of showing what a terrible waste it was that over 150 billion animals were killed every year just so people could eat meat. These were animals like chickens, cows, and pigs, animals that we often don't think of when we talk about protecting animals.
That's a really good point. Sure, we all know that we need to protect certain wild animals like African elephants or whales or sea turtles, but don't farm animals that we raise for food have the same right to life as beautiful wild animals living out in nature? It's a difficult question, and yes, people often have very different opinions on it. And it's safe to say, Richard, the other character from the dialogue, well, his opinions on the rights of animals and Brigitte's opinions, they were quite different.
Yeah. Richard, who was walking by the event, stopped to ask Brigitte why she was holding the dead animals, so they got into a conversation about animal rights. Brigitte obviously thought that all animals should have rights, just like the rights that people have.
While Richard thought that certain animals, especially farm animals, well, they're in a different category because while they may be living things, they are also important sources of food for billions of people. So maybe we just have to accept that killing some animals is necessary.
And Brigitte totally disagreed with that idea. She said that we can live without eating animals. We can eat fruits and vegetables and be perfectly healthy, just like the millions of vegetarians who do that every day and who are perfectly happy and healthy.
Yeah, that's pretty much where we left off yesterday. Sadly, we won't get to hear more of Brigitte and Richard's conversation because today we're shifting and we're going to read the first of our 2 articles about animal rights and the special day on the calendar that has been set aside to promote this idea of international animal rights.
But before we begin, let's check out all of today's new vocabulary right now. 今天的文章一起来看动物对我们人类生活的重要性。我们先来看几个单字。第一个单字 hunt 猎捕是个动词。Many Texans love to hunt. Many Texans love to hunt. 许多美国德州人喜欢打猎。第二个单字 human 人类是个名词。Humans and animals share the earth. Humans and animals share the earth. 人类和动物共享地球，我们都非常重要。第三个单字 own 拥有是个动词。I don't own too many clothes. I don't own too many clothes. 我没有非常多的衣服。最后一个单字 feeling 感受是个名词，通常是复数。I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. 对不起，我伤了你的感情。好了，我们现在看完单字例句，一起来到课文。
Animals are a big part of our lives. We keep them as pets. We hunt and raise them for food and clothes. We use them for work and entertainment. We even test things on them.
Explanation 1.
Okay, so let's get into it and see what we can learn about animals and their rights. The article for today begins by simply saying animals are a big part of our lives. Most definitely. And we often don't think about it, do we? All of the different ways that we use, need, and enjoy animals in so many different parts of our daily lives.
But to remind us, here are just a few examples. We read, we keep them as pets. Well, sure, this might be the most obvious one for many people. It's quite likely that you share your home with an animal, a pet dog or cat, for example. Pets come in many different shapes and sizes, and many people get pleasure and love from the animals that they share their homes with.
And then there are the animals that provide us with so much. We read, we hunt and raise them for food and clothes. Well, I'm not sure how many people hunt animals really, but yes, we definitely raise animals on farms. And it's a sad reality that we also kill them for meat or for leather and other things that we get from their bodies. And then there are animals like chickens or dairy cows or sheep that we keep to get eggs or milk or wool from. Maybe we don't kill those animals as much, but they certainly aren't free when they're locked up on a farm.
And there's a smaller category, but it's still very important, of animals that help us in some way. We read, we use them for work and entertainment. 在这边加一个补充单词 entertainment 娱乐，而 entertainment industry 是娱乐产业。Horses or cows that pull things or carry things, and animals in zoos, circuses, movies. They're all there to help people in some way, so we do need them and we keep them as property.
Yeah, and lastly, we have another category of animals that humans need, but we also rarely see or think about these animals. As we reach the break, we read, we even test things on them. Right, almost anything that goes in or on the human body probably got tested on an animal at some point. Medicines are of course tested on animals before we allow humans to try them, and although it's less common than it used to be, many companies that make things like shampoo, makeup, or perfume test their products on animals to make sure that when humans use the product, it won't make us sick. And yes, sadly, most of those animals will be killed in the process. It's a lot to think about, and it's also totally understandable if it makes people upset. Well, there's also a lot to take in for the first part of today's article, so let's take a break right now. But before we go and do that, we'll learn about our first grammar point of the day with a little help from Daphne.
大家好，我是 Daphne。今天的第一则文法是 Test A on B， 意思是在 B 上测试 A。Test 在这里是及物动词，意思是测试、做实验。On 是介系词，意思是在点点点上。例如 Researchers tested the cream on mice。研究员在老鼠身上测试这款乳霜。
Okay, I think now is a great time for us to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more in just a few moments.
However, not everyone respects animals. They believe they're better than animals because they're human. They think humans own animals, and animals aren't smart and don't have feelings. That's not true, though. Animals are smart and can work out problems. They also have feelings and can feel our feelings as well as trouble.
Explanation 2.
Okay, so as we talked about in the first part of today's article, animals are very important to our lives in many different ways. Some good, some not so good, but many necessary.
But as much as animals give to us, some people still don't know this, and they even go further and treat animals badly, sometimes for no reason at all. As we read on, the article tells us, however, not everyone respects animals. No, sadly, that is true.
好，我们在这边加一个补充单字 respect 尊重。It's important to respect both humans and animals. 我们要尊重人类还有动物。And this bad treatment can simply come from not thinking animals should be respected because they're animals and not people. So we read, they believe they're better than animals because they're human, maybe because they're smarter or something.
Yeah, people like that do exist. They don't think that all living things should be respected, no matter how big or small or smart or useful. They simply see animals as things. As it says next, they think humans own animals, and animals aren't smart and don't have feelings. And this is really sad.
Yeah, an animal might not be able to talk or use an iPhone, but it doesn't mean that they can't feel anything. They're not a chair or a pair of shoes. As we read, that's not true though. Animals are smart and can work out problems. Most definitely. We've all seen the trained animal actors that are in movies or TV shows, and we've heard of the dogs that help us stay safe by finding dangerous items like drugs or saving people that are trapped in an earthquake or a fire, for example.
And then there are dolphins, elephants, and yes, even pigs. Scientists tell us that these animals, and many more, are much smarter than you might ever imagine. Okay, it's time for another quick grammar point. We tried to find a dolphin that could teach us the next grammar point, but sadly the grammar dolphin is busy today. And anyways, I don't think her tank would fit in this room, so it's back over to Daphne.
第二则文法是 work out something， 意思是解决困难。Work 是及物动词，意思是计算。Out 是副词，意思是彻底。合在一起 ，work out 就是算出来，引申指解决困难，相当于 figure out。例如 ，We tried to work out the problem。我们试着解决问题。
So, animals are smart. Some of them very smart. So to think of animals as just a thing that has no intelligence is completely wrong and incorrect.
And of course, animals also have feelings. Sometimes these feelings are very sensitive. As we read in the last sentence of today's article, they also have feelings and can feel our feelings as well as trouble. We've all seen videos of dogs that jump with joy when a human friend comes back after many years. It's pure love and happiness, so we know that there must be strong feelings working there. 补充一下 sensitive 是敏感的、敏锐的。动物有时候也非常敏感，它们能够观察人类的情绪还有烦恼。
Right. Or a dog can be scared or sad if its human friend is going away. And remember the famous story of Hachiko, the Japanese dog who loved his owner and missed him so much after he died that they put up a statue to him in the middle of Tokyo. There were strong feelings and emotions at work there. So clearly, animals are not just unthinking, uncaring things. Animals are not objects that we can just use and then throw away when we don't need them anymore. We wouldn't do that with people, so we shouldn't do that with animals. Okay, it's about time for us to wrap up, but we have a final grammar point to learn about before we do that. Let's find out more from Daphne.
第三则文法是 as well as， 意思是和还有。A as well as B 就是 A 和 B， 由于 as well as 是对等连接词，因此 A 和 B 的词性必须一致。例如 Irene is smart as well as beautiful. Irene 聪明而且美丽。
Okay, we are officially out of time. Thanks for joining us, and please come back tomorrow when we will be learning more about International Animal Rights Day. It promises to be very interesting. Bye-bye.
Bye.
International Animal Rights Day. animals have rights too.
Animals are a big part of our lives. We keep them as pets. We hunt and raise them for food and clothes. We use them for work and entertainment. We even test things on them. However, not everyone respects animals. They believe they're better than animals because they're human. They think humans own animals, and animals aren't smart and don't have feelings. That's not true, though. Animals are smart and can work out problems. They also have feelings and can feel our feelings as well as trouble.
Hello， 各位同学，大家好，我是季安老师。我们今天带大家看一下照片描述题的时候，当中的人物他所穿的衣服啊，他的姿态等等的哦，这些也是一个考试的重点啊。我们先看一下这个衣着，他穿的衣服啊，这个男生他穿什么 ？Alright， 这女生她穿的是什么？穿我们最常出现的动词是用这个 wearing， 她正穿着什么 ？wearing， 穿着的状态 wearing，alright， 也可以用 dressed in，OK， 或者是直接用 in 就好了。比如说 the man's in a t-shirt， 这男生穿 T-shirt in，OK，dress in， the woman is dressed in a skirt， 她穿这个裙子，对不对？所以你看到下面这边 the woman is wearing a t-shirt，OK，the woman's dressed in a t-shirt，the woman is in a dress， 这三个都是很常见的。好，下面这边呢有看到有这个黄色标起来的，这些是什么意思嘞 ？Putting on 是什么？穿上，正在穿上。Taking off 是什么？脱下，正在脱下。Alright， trying on 正穿上，正在试穿。Alright， 再来 removing 正在脱掉，正在移除。还有 adjusting 是调整。Alright， 如果呢你听到这些在听力题通常都不能选。Alright， 这些答案都会是错的，为什么呢？因为比如说我这件衣服这样好了，我到底是在脱还是在穿呢？其实你看不出来，有可能是在脱，有可能是在穿，对不对？所以你光看这个这衣服穿到一半，然后看见正在穿还是正在脱 ，no idea。所以通常有这些呢都不会是答案 ，Alright， 所以这边要特别注意哦。但是 wearing 就可以，因为呢它正穿着。OK， 它因为 wear 它是穿着的状态，它没有说它正在穿啊，正在穿的话，我们会用这个 put on、take off 这个穿起来或脱掉等等的，所以在这个听力考题呢，通常这些就不能选哦，就听一看有没有其他更好的选项，这些通常会是错的。OK， 衣着啊，那我们这服饰配件最常出现的有哪一些？大家要非常的熟哦。Alright， 有些比较简单的，像 sweater 这是国中单字 ，raincoat 我们就看过去念过去 ，vest 背心 ，uniform dress shirt 或者是 jacket 或者是 coat 这些都是外套。然后呢 shorts 这个可能大家比较不熟 ，shorts，alright 就是短裤 ，alright 短裤 shorts。再来我们看到比较常见的配件还有什么 helmet。好，它这个机车的 helmet 或者是呢 safety helmet， 前面如果呢你还听到一个 safety， 这个就是工地在戴的那个就是工地的帽子safety helmet。再来 glasses sunglasses 这个眼镜要会headphones 是耳机 OK。Headset 也可以headphones, headsets 都是耳机的意思。Alright， 再来包包 handbag 这是手提包了这应该没有什么太大的问题。后背包 backpack 还蛮常出现的手环要很明显就是有这个手环的样子 bracelet。再来手套 gloves， 再来防护衣或者是护目镜用的这个形容词都一样。Protective 就是保护的 ，protective clothing 保护的衣服，那 protective glasses 就是护目镜了，这些都很常出现 ，alright， 所以大家要记得把它记得清清楚楚的 ，alright， 再来还有呢长袖短袖 ，OK，short sleeve 是短的 ，long sleeve 是长袖。帽子或者是珠宝，它就带着 bling bling 的闪亮亮的这个就是珠宝啦 ，jewelry，alright jewelry。好，那我们再继续往下看，看到这边姿态 ，OK， 它的状态什么意思呢？它是站着还是坐着等等站着 standing，alright，the people are seated。 The people are sitting， 这个都是很常出现的描述哦。坐着 seated， 这是一个很特别的用法，因为呢是 be seated，OK， 他们是they are seated， 他们是坐下的状态，seated。如果你要知道说为什么 seat它是这样用的话呢，你可以先去查一下字典seat 它的意思是什么？使点点点入座所以呢，它是坐着的话，就是它被带入座的状态。OK， 有点复杂，但是呢，请大家去看一下。OK， 这个的用法跟 dress 是一样的意思比如说他穿什么，为什么是 dressed be dressed in something 因为它的用法跟这个 seat 其实是一模一样的。dress 是使点点点着衣，使谁谁谁穿上什么 ，OK， 所以这边要特别注意有他们有什么东西 have has 或者搬东西啦 ，holding carrying 这些都是排队 line up 或者是呢 waiting in line，alright， 好，姿态呢还有哪些比较常见？躺着，比如说躺在沙发上躺在这个海滩等等的lying 休息 resting， 还有放 ，OK， 放的话就是比如说他手。就是这样放着之类的，这个动作怎么说呢 ？Resting， alright， resting the arm on the desk， 他的手呢就放在桌子上 ，alright， resting her head in her hands， 就是这个样子了就是装可爱 ，alright， resting her head in her hands， 把他的头放在手之间。那 resting his chin on the hand， chin 的话是下巴，就是这样耍帅，就是这个样子 ，alright， resting his chin on the hand。再来，双手交叉 ，having his or her arms folded， 就是这个样子，要干架要打架的感觉再来，最后翘二郎腿 ，having his or her legs crossed，OK， 这些很常见的表达方法所以 having the arms folded，having his or her legs crossed， 这些都是很常出现而且非常重要的。以上就是我们今天的课程内容，我们下部影片见，拜拜。
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny， 又到我们1分钟的单元喽。那我们今天是用1分钟的时间来复习4个单字，还会造4个例句。同学们，您都准备好没？1分钟计时，开始。第一个单字呢，它可以表达打猎、狩猎、猎捕的意思，它是个动词，叫做 hunt。如果在后面加 er 变成 hunter， 那就是猎人咯。Okay, some people still use a bow and arrow to hunt animals. 有些人还是会用弓箭来打猎。好，第二单字呢是人类的意思，它是名词，叫做 human 就是人类。Humans can't survive without food and water. 没有食物和水，人是没办法生存的。第三个单字，这个字很常出现，它可以表达某人自己的那个自己的。可是我们在这边是要学动词，表达拥有的意思，它叫做 own。The restaurant is owned by a couple. 这间餐厅是一对夫妻所拥有的，是他们所开的。好，第四个单字呢，可以表达情感感受，它叫做 feeling。我们通常会用复数型 feelings. Sam didn't know how to express his feelings. Sam 不知道怎么表达他自己的感受。好，太好啦！我们刚好就在1分钟复习完4个单字咯。同学们表现很棒记得多多复习哦。下次见，拜拜。See you next time.